The term Lucifer is most commonly associated with the devil in Christian theology within English usage. Its earliest appearance is found in the King James Version of the Bible in the book of Isaiah, and preceding that in the Vulgate, the Latin translation of the Bible from the late 4th century. In these ancient texts, Lucifer is not a proper noun denoting a specific devil, but rather a Latin term, Lucifer meaning the morning star, the planet Venus, or as an adjective, light-bringing. This Latin term is derived from the Hebrew word Hallel, meaning shining one. In the cultural context of ancient Greco-Roman civilization, Lucifer was used as a name for the planet Venus in its morning aspect. It corresponds to the Greek names Phosphorus and Eosphorus, both signifying light-bringer in English. Over time, the Latin term Lucifer became intertwined with the concept of the devil in Christianity. However, contemporary scholarship suggests that the relevant passage in Isaiah refers to the morning star, or shining one, rather than a specific individual named Lucifer. The term Lucifer also appears in the second epistle of Peter in the Latin Vulgate, where it refers to Jesus, and in the Latin version of Exsultet, the Easter proclamation. In Roman folklore, Lucifer was associated with the planet Venus and often depicted as a male figure carrying a torch. The Greek names for this planet, Phosphoros and Heosphoros, also carry the meaning of light-bringer and dawn-bringer, respectively. In mythology, Lucifer was portrayed as the son of Aurora and Cephalus, and the father of Ceyx, frequently depicted in poetry as heralding the dawn. The Latin term equivalent to the Greek phosphoros is Lucifer, used in both prose and poetry to denote its astronomical significance. Poets often personify this celestial body, incorporating it into mythological narratives. Lucifer's mythical mother, Aurora, shares similarities with dawn goddesses from various cultures. The name Aurora is connected to goddesses such as the Vedic Ushas, the Lithuanian Aushrein, and the Greek Eos, all symbolizing dawn. Scholars trace these names back to the Proto-Indo-European root thusos, meaning dawn, which also influenced terms like Proto-Germanic ostro, Old Germanic ostara, and Old English eostre estre. In the writings of the 2nd century Roman mythographer Pseudo-Hyginus, Venus, referred to as Luciferus, is described as the 4th star. It is alternatively named Hesperus and associated with Juno in some accounts. According to legend, it represents the son of Aurora and Cephalus, renowned for his beauty and compared to Venus herself. This star, visible during both dawn and sunset, is aptly named both Luciferus and Hesperus. The Roman poet Ovid, in his epic Metamorphoses, depicts Lucifer as orchestrating the heavens, while equating Phosphorus with Hesperus, the evening star. Lucifer is portrayed as the father of Daedalion and Ceyx, according to Ovid and the Latin grammarian Servius, respectively. During the classical Roman era, Lucifer was not typically revered as a deity and lacked significant myths. However, the planet was associated with various deities and often personified poetically. Cicero's writings reflect this perspective, questioning the classification of celestial bodies like the sun and the moon as deities and their implications for other celestial entities like Lucifer and the other wandering stars. In Charles Godfrey Leland's compilation of folklore and magical practices titled Aradia, or the Gospel of the Witches, Lucifer plays a prominent role within an alleged Italian witch cult. According to Leland's narrative, Lucifer is portrayed as both the brother and consort of the goddess Diana and the father of Aradia. In Leland's mythology, Diana relentlessly pursues her brother Lucifer across the sky, analogous to a cat chasing its prey. Leland describes a moment where Diana, after dividing herself into light and darkness, yearns intensely for the beautiful light embodied by Lucifer, her brother. However, Lucifer, representing the light, refuses to yield to her desires and evades her grasp, symbolizing the perpetual struggle between light and darkness. The relationship between Diana and Lucifer in Leland's narrative mirrors the celestial motions of the moon and Venus, respectively. While Leland's portrayal of Lucifer draws from the classical personification of the planet Venus, he also incorporates elements from Christian tradition, depicting Lucifer as the god of the sun and the moon, associated with light and splendor. Lucifer's expulsion from paradise is attributed to his pride, echoing themes from Christian theology. In modern Wiccan traditions influenced by Leland's work, the figure of Lucifer is often either omitted or replaced as Diana's consort. Some traditions substitute Lucifer with the Etruscan god Tani or Dianus, Janus, reflecting the research of folklorist James Fraser in The Golden Bough. For one, you must understand what you are trying to summon. Lucifer is a highly guarded and protected iconic figure. The details of his purpose and skills are an important reference to this subject. In heaven, before his supposed fall, he was called the Son of the Morning Star. In translation, we have come to understand that this title means he was God's vessel during the beginning of creation. He is also called the bearer of the first dawn in creation, which explains his position within this event as the vessel which became the source of creation's inertia, or that first spark of the Big Bang that set all the galaxies into motion. Now, having understood this, I cannot see why or what would make people think that such a crucial aspect in the designs of something, such creating the universe, could be considered to be so expendable to fall victim of such petty accusations of rebellion, inciting war against his creator and pride or vanity. These subjects are something that seems more human in design than activities that would occur in a place described like heaven. For one, angels are sinless in nature, so vanity and pride are not a concept in his ability to understand or commit, inciting war against his creator and rising up with sword against him is something completely absurd, unless there is one possible solution that no one considers, probably because someone doesn't want anyone to. What if Lucifer wasn't wrong in his rebellion, and his rebellion wasn't against God, but a false impersonator? Taking that into consideration, then the war in heaven begins to make sense. How he could rise up in rebellion along with a third of heaven's hosts begins to make sense. But unfortunately, the details we are provided when seeing this story through a more logical view shows us that the bad guys won. The false impersonator and his army won, and the angels who rose up to stand in the way of this impersonator were defeated. And for his rise against the false impersonator, Lucifer was cast down, shamed and ridiculed through his transformation into Satan. If you take a look at the events that unfolded in the aftermath of this event, you see that God goes through a change in personality. His methods and reactions towards mankind goes from understanding and firm discipline, like that of a father, as he was towards the serpent in the garden, casting him into that form rather than destroying him, to the God who commanded his most faithful of subjects,